This is a level 4 lesson. This lesson will include standards from 4.1 through 4.6. It will include the basic functions of the cell membrane, endoplasmic reticulum, ribosomes, chloroplasts, mitochondria, lysosomes, and nucleus. We're going to go over a few basic things that you've learned in the level 3 standards. All living things have basic needs, for example, food, water, air, shelter, and space. Organisms have parts that help them meet their basic needs, such as organs and tissues. A cell itself can be considered an organism. For example, an amoeba is a cell, but it is a single-celled organism. And these single-celled organisms still have basic needs that they need to meet. Within the cell are things called organelles. These organelles are parts of the cell, and these organelles help the cell meet its basic needs. 4.1, cell membrane. The cell membrane is on the outside of an animal cell. It's just inside the cell wall in a plant cell. The purpose of the cell membrane is to protect and support the cell. It also controls movement of materials in and out of the cell, such as oxygen, water, glucose, and proteins. A good way to think of the cell membrane is it's like a wall around your bedroom, only this wall has doorways that let certain things in and out. 4.2 is about the endoplasmic reticulum. The endoplasmic reticulum is responsible for transporting materials around the cell. It's a system made up of clear, tubular passageways. These passageways lead to the cell membrane, the nuclear membrane, which is a membrane that surrounds the nucleus, and all other areas of the cell. The endoplasmic reticulum spreads throughout the entire cell. The ER is also responsible for carrying proteins from one part of the cell to another. Ribosomes are grain-like bodies that attach to the inner surface of the endoplasmic reticulum. Some of them float freely in the cytoplasm. Ribosomes are produced in the nucleus. They are the protein-making sites of the cell. The RNA in ribosomes direct the production of proteins. RNA is controlled by DNA in the chromosomes, so ultimately the chromosomes in the DNA are what controls everything. Once ribosomes make proteins that the cell needs, they can drop them off in the endoplasmic reticulum, which is the transportation system. Proteins can be transported to other parts of the cell, or they can also be transported out of the cell if the body needs them. 4.3 is about energy, and chloroplast is an organelle that helps plants get energy. They are large, irregular shaped, and green in structure. Chloroplasts are green because of chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is a green pigment that captures the sunlight's energy and they turn it into food for the plant. The process is called photosynthesis. I like to think of chlorophyll as something like a solar panel on a house. The mitochondria is another organelle that helps cells get energy. They're also rod-shaped in structure. They supply most of the energy for the cell. We call them the powerhouse, and we call them that because they help break down energy, so they're powerful. Inside the mitochondria, simple sugar, such as glucose, is broken down into water and carbon dioxide gas. When this process happens, a lot of energy is released, and some of it is stored. The energy in cells is called ATP. The more active the cell is, the more mitochondria it has. I'd like you to think about the number of mitochondria that's in a muscle cell versus a brain cell. 4.5 is about lysosomes. Lysosomes are small, round structures. They're very common in animal cells, but you don't often see them in plant cells. Lysosomes are responsible for breaking down large food molecules into smaller ones so that the mitochondria can burn these molecules as food. Lysosomes break down old cell parts. They release a substance that allows the cell part to be reused, so it's almost like a recycling system. Lysosomes can break down an entire cell that is injured or dead. An example of where lysosomes are used is in tadpoles. That lysosome digests the tail, and the tail is then reused to make new parts of the frog. 4.6 is about the nucleus. The nucleus is the control center or the brain of the cell. It controls all activities of the cell. This is where the chromosomes are. They float freely in the nucleus. They are thick and rod-like. They direct growth and reproduction. They pass on traits to new cells. And they continue to help make proteins, just like the ribosomes. These proteins are needed for life. To demonstrate your knowledge, you can create an analogy. So I'd like you to compare the parts of the cell to another system. You could compare the parts of the cell to a school, a vehicle, a computer. And the way you're going to do this is the cell membrane is like, and they're like this because. This is a lesson in 4.1 through 4.6.